All right, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, if I could ask all of you to not send me any text messages while I'm up here, because let me tell you something. When you're up here and you're performing and you're moving around and all of a sudden this text appears in front of you, it's like hitting a wall. It's very painful. It throws you off. It's not fun. So if you couldn't do that, that'd be cool. Also, if you can stay off the stage area, right? This way nobody blocks this big display behind me, and this way everyone can see good, and it gives me a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing, right? Also, if I can direct your attention to your menu wheel in your lower left, you are going to notice that there is at the very top of that menu wheel a microphone icon that looks kind of like this here, right? And when that is clear, we can hear what's happening in your environment. But when it's red, like turn it to red now, that means that you're muted. So somebody comes in your space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" Don't worry, we're not going to hear that. Likewise, if you have like a barking dog in the background, you're not going to face social ruin by becoming known as the avatar that started barking during its quest time, right? Because that wouldn't be cool. But just because you're muted does not mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice there's a pink cheek smiley face in your menu wheel that looks kind of like this. When you click on that, your emoji panel opens up in front of you, and it gives you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself. So if, for example, I say something really deep, something powerful and meaningful, and you start to feel it in here, and it's building up, and you can't contain it anymore, you can just let it out, let it flow, just like that. And maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And they come out, and we break into, it's Quest Time, the musical, and maybe they're not dancers, but they're ninjas, and they start fighting each other. You're all very impressed because of all the work that went into the production value. You can throw up the applause that I live for, and I can take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good. All right, now I can also ask you guys a yes or no question. You can say yes by smiling like this. You can say no by frowning like this. If I say or do something funny or something funny happens, you can show that you're laughing by doing the silly face emoji right here. And then there's this thing. This is by far the most distracting of all the emojis, right? You're going to want to use this not to ask a question. We will be taking questions and comments at the end. This is how you guys are going to let me know that there's a problem, right? So like, if, for example, I'm waving my hand around like this, I'm going all over, and you're like, wow, this guy looks really into it, but I don't hear anything. That might be a good time to do something like that. Or maybe there's, a problem I don't know about. Like maybe the moderators have suddenly turned against me, right? Maybe they've seen one quest time too many, and all of a sudden they burn down the display and there's a big fire behind me, but I don't know, right? This is our sacred pact between you and me, the audience. This is our bond, right? What you're going to do is you're going to let me know if there's any problems. If I see one going up, it might be somebody messing around, so I'm just going to keep on going. But if I see like 5 going up at one time, I know there's a problem that I need to address. All right, you can also press the X to close the emoji panel. That's right in the center there. But it's a good idea to keep this open during events like this because it gives me some feedback, lets me know how I'm doing. But more importantly, it's going to let the people around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, right? And you may not agree. You might be like, well, that's not funny at all. That's not funny. I don't like that one bit. I don't know what's with this guy. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can do that because this is VR. It's not like right here because as our sacred pact dictated, nobody else is going to be standing up on the stage right now unless you're invited to do so. Okay, so now let's get going here. What is Quest Time about? Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users. But all are welcome. So if you're on a device, feel free to hang out. You may learn, a little bit more about the Quest that, helps your fellow Quest users. There's a lot of Quest users at Altspace and more are arriving each and every day. But before we get going, I want to get some idea of how to proceed. So if you guys can show me some hearts, if you're on a Quest right now, who's on a Quest? Everybody, throw me some hearts or put your hands up in the air because you can. All right, let's see. All right, cool. That's a lot of you. That's good. All right, let's see. How many of you, are new to the Quest? You recently got your Quest. Show me some smiles if you just recently got your Quest. It's like fairly new to you. Any new Quest users? All right, good. Oh, that's awesome. I love seeing that. How many of you are new Altspace users? How many of you are relatively new to Altspace? Wow. All right, that's cool. Welcome to Altspace. I think you're going to love it. I got some really great stuff in here, a really great community of people, and you're going to enjoy it. All right, let's see here. How many of you are coming over from an Oculus Go? You recently you switched over to a Quest from a Go, or are on a Go right now and thinking of getting a Quest? All right, cool. All right, that's good to know. Oh, all right, that's good. All right, good. That gives me some idea how to set out. Now, when I was waiting for my Quest to arrive, right, I was on an Oculus Go at the time. Now, I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm used to talking with my hands a lot. I do this whole hand motion thing, right? And when I was on an Oculus Go, that device only has the one controller, right? And as such, I was going like this all the time. And I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could. So I couldn't wait to get this hand. I was psyched for it, man. I was looking forward to this so much. And then when the device finally arrived, I took a good look at the controllers and I'm like, you know what? Those are a lot of buttons. They really are. And if you're a new Quest user, you're new to Altspace, it can be overwhelming, all the controls and stuff. So I like to go over that stuff. But listen, if you're here, you've already used the controllers, we're going to do some movement exercises that it can make it fun for everybody while the new users skill up, right? You can also, listen, if you're here today, you know the basics, right? The left thumbstick's going to move you around like this. The right thumbstick's going to turn you in these circles. And when you combine the two, you get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If everybody could try this now, going in these big circles like this way when I look at it, it's going to look like you guys are ballroom dancing. Let me get a look at this. Let's see how we're doing. All right, not a lot of you are doing it. I'm going to join in on it. Let's do this. Kind of imagine some music going. What I should do is I should add in music for this part. I really should. That would be cool. All right, let me get a look at this, see how you guys are doing. All right, that's the thing. I always say I wish you guys could see what this looks like, and now you can. We got a YouTube channel. If you see Raven Eye floating up there in the air above you guys, you can turn around and wave to that because that's our YouTube camera, right? It could be like and we've got Delighted blue and white striped shirt here. We got Kamani in the red here. We got we got LB19. We got Weeb Time. We got Gavin. We got let's see who else we got here. We got Don the Gator. How's it going, Don? What's going on? We also got Gavin here in the orange, right? So can wave on out to YouTube and be like, listen, YouTube, come on into Altspace. I think you'll enjoy it. Come on in. It's great in here. We got a lot of people. It's very cool. All right. Now, let's take a good look at these controls now, right? The first one we're going to talk about is on your right and left control, you have this grip button here and here, right on the very sides. You're going to use this to interact with your environment. This is how you're going to grab fireworks. This is how you're going to grab sparklers and stuff like that. And you're going to be able to grab basketballs. You can try that now if you want, like grab on that basketball if you want. Let's say you try a couple more of them. This way you guys play with them if you want to. All right, throw them around, grab them, do that kind of thing. All right, like that. All right, now, let's see, what else do we have here? We have on the, let's see, when you're having a room scale experience, right? And very often you're going to walk out like past your main menu, right? And when that happens, what you're going to do is, I don't know why it is, but whenever you walk out past that menu, that's when somebody says, open your main menu. And you look around and you're like, oh, where is this thing? I can't find it. And you're looking around and it's always behind you, right? And it's like, all right, so, what you want to do is remember that your main menu is in your hands at all times on the Quest. All right. On your left controller, there's this flat button down toward the bottom here. And when you press that, your main menu is going to open up in front of you, right? Be honest with you. I haven't touched that blue and white triangle button in months, right? All you have to do is just like what I do myself is I flick my hand out like that when I press the button and my menu's open. And I flick it again and my hand is closed. The hand flick doesn't make any work any better. I just think it's cool to do. It's a lot of fun. Also, on your left controller, you've got this trigger here. Right. And this is going to cause you to speed up whether you're walking or flying. So if I'm walking along and I press that button, all of a sudden I'm going to start going quick and I can run down to the audience. Right. And we can make like a giant circle, everybody. Let's go in and make a giant circle. We can make like a hurricane here. Maybe we can make it rain, get a little typhoon going. Oh, looks like we got good formation today. Sometimes people don't do this part too well and we end up with like a figure eight, but this is looking pretty circular. Let's see. If you're getting dizzy, you probably don't want to do this. Let's see how you're doing. Let's see. Oh, that's good. Good formation. Oh, very impressed. Yeah. Very organized audience. That's nice. Maybe try doing the wave later. Want to try that? Let's try doing the wave. Everybody, if you can come up here and like form a line, right? Because I've just been trying this, and last time it went really well, but the camera wasn't working. Then I want to actually see if we can get this. Just form a line, straight line right up here. Let's see what we can do. All right, now we're gonna go from end to end here. We're gonna start out with Don the Gainer. Don, what I want you to do, right, is raise your hands up. Put them up above your head. All right, cool. Now, as you lower your hands, there you go. D Street. Now D Street lowers. You come up. Oh wow, you guys are doing good. Keep it going. Keep it going. All the way down. All the way down. Keep it going. All right, cool. Let's see you at the end. All right, now let's go the other way. Other way. Start out with Alicia. Alicia, go ahead. Let's pick it up. Let's go. All right, now we're starting to mess up the formation here. Wave's not really working out. All right, cool. We're going to try that. All right, now let's see. What other things we got to worry about? Listen, that doesn't really teach you how to use the Quest any better. I just like doing it. I want to see how that looks later. I want to check the camera and see how that looks. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? We have, the important thing to remember here is while these are a lot of buttons, some of them actually do the same thing. All right, and that can make things a lot easier. You're going to notice you have this select button on your right controller. You have this right trigger button and this select button on your left controller if you have your left pointer enabled through the main menu. And what that's going to do is if you hold down your right trigger right now, that's how, and point at everybody in the audience, that's how I know everybody's name so quickly. That's how I know that's Kamani right here. That's how I know that's Don the Gamer. That's how I know that's Gavin over there, right? And that's the way you can do is just point at everybody and you'll see their name tag that way. All right, and that takes care of like 3 buttons, so that does make things a little bit easier. Also, you have on both controls, you have this teleport button here and here, right? These teleport button, I'm hoping you're in a line dash teleport. That's a lot of fun. It feels like you're flinging yourself across the room. But if everybody would line up along this wall here, right? And you hold down on your right teleport button, you're going to notice if you aim at the ground, you're going to have your teleport target appear on the floor, right? What's really cool about this is if you aim across the room toward that wall over there, as soon as you let go of that button, boom, you get thrown right across the room. Everybody teleport over to me while there's still time. You can do it. Come on, everybody teleport on over. All right. Now you're going to notice on the left controller, if you hold down that left teleport button and aim at the ground, you got that teleport target that appears, and you can aim back to the other side with your left hand this time, and then aim right across and go boom, just like that. Right? Release it, you teleport over. It's a good time. All right. Another thing you can do is you can actually aim with both teleport buttons at the same time at the ground and make kind of an X, and it'll cause you to zig and to zag, right? It's kind of cool. Another thing you can do, right, is if you're like facing the stage here and you go backwards and hold down that accelerator button, right? You're going backwards fast and you aim at the floor and you teleport to the ground in front of you, you end up doing like the Altspace moonwalk, which hopefully is not a copyright violation because that would be bad. All right, give that a shot. All right, another cool thing you can do is one time I was hosting an event and like, you know, you probably noticed I come down in the audience an awful lot, right? And I'm down in the audience, I'm in front of the stage just like this, and I need to get back up there, right? And it was near the end of the event and people were like, you know, kind of crowding around. I need to get up there quick. So what I did was I actually took my hand, and I don't know why I never thought to try this, but you're always learning new stuff in Altspace, right? So I put my hand over my shoulder like this and teleported backwards. That's right, you can teleport backwards. Works with your left hand too. Check that out, right? You can teleport backwards. I've been in here for like a year and a half, and I never knew that. I thought it was cool. All right, let's see what else do we have. Let's see. We've got, yeah. All right. Let's see. Covered that. Good. All right. We're doing good. All right. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Another thing you need to worry about. Listen, when I first came into Altspace on a Quest, actually, good example. Mike. Wait up, Mike. Great name, by the way. Stay where you are. Wait. All right. You don't want to do this bit. That's cool. All right. Another thing you need to worry about in Altspace on a Quest is your vertical height. All right. When I first came in on a Quest, I went to the campfire to check it out. Right. And I'm looking around. And all the other avatars were shorter than me. I was about as tall as Mike there. Right. And what happened was, you know, I'm looking around and I'm like, why is everybody shorter than me? I don't get it, right? It's because you have to worry about that vertical height, right? And I look down and it turns out I'm floating this high off the ground, right? What do you do in a situation like this? If you find that you're too tall or you're too short, all you have to do is press down on your left thumbstick like it's a button. All right, anybody willing to help me out like this? So you can, you know, raise up or kind of come down. Let's see, Gavin, you hand raise there. Try to, you know, sit up a little bit or come down, you know. Mike, you can do it. Show everybody what happens when you press down your left thumbstick. You willing to do that? Just press down the left thumbstick and show everybody what happens. No, not happening. Okay, that's cool. Anybody else willing to try this? So we're going to show what it looks like. All right, you got a hand raise. Weep time. Go ahead. Like lift up or kind of scooch down. Change your vertical height a little bit. There we go. Excellent. All right. Now show everybody what happens when you press down on that left thumbstick. Show how you kind of pop into place. All right. Nobody's willing to do this. All right. That's different. All right. How about you? Let's see. Who is this? Don. Don, come on over here so we can get you on camera and show you. All right. Now, you see how Don's floating up here? Don, show everybody what happens when you press down on that left thumbstick. Boom, just like that. Perfect example. Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. All right. So if you find that your vertical height has changed and you feel too tall or too short, just press down on that left thumbstick and you'll pop right into place. But just remember something. The movement is attached to your head. So like if you're looking down to check it and you press down, you see how I popped up a little bit, right? You got to be looking straight ahead when you do this. If you're looking straight ahead and you press down on that left thumbstick, boom, you go in place just like that, which is pretty cool. All right. Let's see what we have here. Now, you know, let's see. Oh, yeah. So when I was first learning this stuff with like the teleport and moving around and all that kind of stuff. I went to the Universe, and that event right back then was held at a really large world, right? And as you know, I'm looking around, and at the end when it was over, and I go up to the edge of the world, I'm looking right off the edge, and all of a sudden I fell off, right? And as I'm falling, I look over and I see that there's this cliff there, right? And I aim the teleport, you know, button at it, right? And I launched onto that, you know, onto that cliff, and I'd saved myself from respawning. It's not like you can get hurt in Altspace, but at that moment I knew I was starting to get a handle on the controls. Because listen, there's going to come a moment, there's going to come a point in time where you're always going to feel the plastic in your hands, but there's going to come a point where these actually become your hands, where you're not going to actually have to think about what you're doing to use them, right? Like if I go like this, hey, everybody, look at that window right there. Right. You know, nobody is like, you know, you're going to do that on reflex. You're not going to think about it. Like you're not going to think about how to point. You just do it. It takes more effort to actually explain how to do it. If everybody holds down on your grip buttons like that, you'll see that you go into a point, right? Everybody can give me like a Brooklyn hello like that, just like that. That's a cool thing to do, right? Everybody give me a Brooklyn hello. Nobody. All right, cool. Another thing you can do is you can hold down the trigger button with the grip button. You're going to get 2 thumbs up. All right, be like, how am I doing, everybody? And you give me 2 thumbs up. All right, there you go. You're getting into it. There we go. Weed time. All right, if I'm not doing a good job, maybe 2 thumbs down like that, like Mike's doing there, right? You know, maybe you don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both, right? Go like that. You know, and you can also do this. I don't know what this is. I see this a lot. You know, I don't know what it means, but it looks cool. Yeah, and that's the best way to pick things up. If somebody's doing something you like, right, something you think it's cool, try to mirror them. Try to mirror the gesture. You mirror the gesture, and like you'll be able to pick this stuff very quickly. If you're holding down both your grip and your trigger, and you got the thumbs up. If you touch your thumbs to the buttons or the thumbstick, your thumbs are going to go down. You can kind of combine it into this like little dance move like that, right? You get a little dance move. Maybe you're at the Universe, you dance it around. You can go like this and look cool. That's pretty neat to do. All right. Now, another button you need to be concerned about is something that you press when things go wrong. All right. So, like, let's say that you move your head and the whole world moves with you. That can make you, feel a little dizzy in VR because something's gone wrong, right? It's also a good thing to press if like somebody comes in your space and says, "Hey, dinner's ready," something important like that. What you're going to want to do is on your right controller, and don't press this now because if you guys disappear, I'm going to feel it, right? But if you press this flat button on your right controller, what's going to happen is you're going to exit out to the Oculus main menu, and this is like the best way to leave Altspace. All right, somebody comes in, dinner's ready. You go, "Uh-oh, gotta go," and you press that flat button, and you're out. You just press quit after that on the Oculus main screen, and the app will close, right? But this is also good to press when things go wrong. Like, if, for example, like I mentioned, when you turn your head and the whole world moves with you, and it makes you feel dizzy. You need to get out quickly. But every so often, sometimes when you press that button, nothing's going to happen, and you're going to be like, "Michael Forrest lied to me. How could you?" Right? That's not actually what's going on. What happens is your device freezes. It doesn't just happen in Altspace. Like if you're in Altspace and you look to the left, you see this like black edge, and there's like a void there, and you're like, "Oh no, the void!" And you look to the right, and it's black, void over there happening. And you look at the top and the bottom, and there's a black void there too. And you're like, "It's spreading," and all of your friends are frozen in space, all dramatic like this. Something's gone horribly wrong. And then you press that flat button and nothing happens, and your device is frozen. What you're going to need to do is restart your device. And when I first got my Quest, I would restart my device by taking it off my head, right? Now, if your device is plugged in while you're using it at all, and it's not in a charge cycle, the device won't light up, and you might get to thinking that something's wrong with your device. That's what happened to me. So it helps if you restart your device while it's still on your head. It's a good skill to have. And the way to do this is you take your index finger and you swipe it along the side of your device on the right side until you feel that raised up power button, right? Then take your other index finger and squeeze against the other side so you're squeezing it together, right? I think it's cool, too, to look down like you're in a deep concentration pose. And after about 4 seconds, you concentrate so hard, your avatar disappears and you get plunged into the darkness, right? And after about, 10 seconds, you start to wonder, because you don't let go. And you start wondering, like, why did Oculus make it take so long? To restart, I don't know. And about 15 seconds go by, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a while. You wonder how they're doing. 20 seconds go by, you start thinking about life. You start asking the big questions, And after about like 23 seconds, all of a sudden, out of the darkness, the Oculus logo will emerge like that signal. And then when it starts to pulse, you take your hands away like this and your device will restart normally, right? That's all you need to do. It's going to take care of, most of the problems that you're going to have in Altspace and other apps as well. Whenever your device freezes or you have problems, it's a great way to get everything right and working. And, but every now and then something more severe might happen. So it pays to know about the factory reset. But I got to give you guys a warning. All right. If you have any photographs on your device, you're going to lose those. You're going to have to reinstall all your apps. And an example of how to use this, like I come out of Altspace one time and there was this notice that said Oculus Home is closing. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen that before. And there was an OK button. So I pressed OK. It was the only button you could press. And then the screen said loading. And it just hung there for like 2 minutes. And something's horribly wrong. Deep concentration pose. Right. Went into that. And you know what happened? Right? The device restarted and the screen still said loading. And I'm like, oh, this is serious. So I one day asked my good friend Google about it. Google always knows this stuff. And Google said a lot of people were having this problem. Right? And the best thing to do is a factory reset. So I went and did the factory reset and I had to, reinstall all my apps. And again, if you have any photographs, you're going to lose those. You're going to lose all of your settings. It's serious business. You might even lose your Beat Saber scores. You don't want that to happen. All right. So, bear in mind, this is going to put the device back the way it was when you first got it. The good news is you won't have to pay for the apps again. You can just re-download them. But it's, it's good to know, in case of emergency or something like that. And listen, if you're here today, you've already familiar with the Guardian system because you've done the tour, right? You danced with the robot, you played with the blimp, you did all that fun stuff, right? But it turns out you can use the Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace, all right? Now, like let's say earlier I mentioned, in dizzy in VR, like that can happen. One great way to deal with this is if you take a look, like if you start to feel dizzy, take your hand and hold it up to your face like this and just focus on your hand. And when that dizziness starts to pass, right, slowly take away your hand and take in the world around you, right? But you can also use your Guardian system for this purpose too. And like I say, when people mess around with the Guardian system, be very careful because, if you're walking around, you see this a lot in Altspace. So see somebody walking around their space going, wow, look at all the colors. And all of a sudden, boom, they bounce off the wall, right? You don't want to, hurt yourself and you don't want to damage your equipment, right? So what you can do, right, is, especially if you're new to VR, lead with your hands, right? And when you're leading with your hands, when you get up to the edge of your space, that grid appears in the air in front of you, right? But it turns out, like if I walk up to my real world wall right now and I hold my hands out and that grid appears, right, I can still touch my thumbstick. So I can move my avatar around in VR while I'm standing still in the real world, right? And what I can do is I can line up that grid along this display here to completely match the wall. And I'm like, okay, that's a good match. Now I have a reality anchor or a frame of reference. And if I walk too far and I suddenly fall off the stage, oh no, I'm in the audience. And let's say you guys are like hostile, right? Come and try to make me dizzy, like just mess me up. Your hands in my face. Very good. All right, cool. All right, let's see how you're doing here. All right. All right, that's not bad. Usually you guys put a little more work into it. Now, as long as I can see that display behind you guys, I'm fine. I'm getting punched in the face, but you'll notice my words aren't faltering. I'm not losing my place. I'm having no issue talking at all. It's because I can still see that display, right? And it's huge, so you guys really can't block it at all, and I feel very anchored, very attached. I can't get dizzy, really. So another thing you can do, it doesn't have to be something big like that display. You know what else you could do is, like, if you have like a desk or a table in your play space, right, you can line it up with, say, the edge of the stage right here, just like that, right? And that'll help, prevent you from, it may not prevent you, but it'll definitely help you with, like, any dizziness by, giving you kind of like an anchor to the real world. It can really help with that. All right. Another thing you can do, right, is that you can switch from a room scale experience to a stationary experience pretty effortlessly in Altspace, right? So if, for example, I'm up here and I'm like, you know what? I've hosted over 300 events and I'm tired. I don't know if I can go on. I need to sit down, right? What I'll do is I'll walk up to the edge of my space, to get that grid to appear. I'll make sure I got enough room for my head to pass through, and I'll stick my head through, and I'll be able to see the world when that camera goes off. Or if you have the experimental features turned on, now you can double tap the side of your device on either side. You can be like, tap, tap, and that camera goes off, and you can see the real world, right? And I'll see, I got my coffee right here, take a sip of that, throw it down on the floor, fit of rage, because, like I said, 300 events, man, I'm starting to lose it, right? And then I'll notice I've got my chair over there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go sit down. And I walk over to the chair, right, turn around, I sit down, and there's a button there asking if I want to switch to a stationary experience. When I press that button to say, okay, right, I'm going to find not only in my VR, but I'm still in Altspace. Turns out I never left, right? So that's pretty convenient. And it works in the other direction, too. There's one time I was moderating an event, right? And I was getting close to the end, but I felt like getting up and walking around. And I thought I was just going to get up and walk into my space. And that's usually how it goes, right? But every so often, the Quest can lose your Guardian system, right? And it's going to want you to draw a new boundary, a fresh one. And it loses it because of changing light. And for one reason or another, can't resolve where it is in your space. And it figures, just draw me another one. No big deal. But you know what? When there's 2 minutes left in the event, it's a very big deal. So I panic and I start drawing that boundary out, and I'm drawing it out. And I'm like, why is my space so big? And then I'm like, of all the times I had to moderate for an admin, why did it have to be today? And then, as soon as I close that grid, it comes up out of the ground, right? And I find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left, right? All anybody sees is your avatar frozen like this. I always pause there. And there was this one time, right, where I actually lost my internet connection, right in that moment. So everybody sees me frozen up here, like it was perfectly timed. And they're out in the audience, they're looking up and they're like, look at this guy, man. He's really into it. He's really, really into it. He's got range. Look at that guy. He's just really just devoted. And, and that can happen. But, I came back in a couple minutes later. It was no big deal. Everybody had a good laugh. It's funny. And I think about that every time I do that bit. Another thing you can do, which is just cool, this isn't useful, this is just cool, is if you go up to the edge of your Guardian system, make sure you have enough room for your head to pass through. As soon as you stick your head through it, right, the pass-through camera goes off. If you do this really slowly, right, you're going to see both realities at the same time. And it's pretty neat, too, because you'll get a sense of the scale of avatars in Altspace. You'll see that they're 6 feet tall, and they're a lot wider than you would think. And this doesn't really register for you fully until you see them, like, in your living room or in your office, wherever you VR from, right? So that's just a fun thing to do. It can be a lot of fun to check that out. All right, now, one of the great things about the Quest is it just works. There aren't too many problems, but that doesn't mean it can't work better. There's some cool accessories that you can get that really enhance the experience, like those earbuds that dangle down from the side, right? I don't know what I look like when I'm in VR, but these are like VR earrings, right? I like to think I look fancy when I'm wearing these things. And the first time I tried them, I put them in and I went to the campfire. And when I got to the campfire, you know what, right? I've been in Altspace for like a year and a half, right? And did you guys know there's a breeze in the campfire? Nobody told me this. I walked over to that railing and I could hear the rushing water. And I was like, wow, I'd never heard that before either. It turns out there's a lot of ambient sound in Altspace that can make the experience more rich and more immersive, right? And, really add something to it, right? Now, a lot of people say that the Quest is uncomfortable. And honestly, Oculus doesn't do a good enough job of advertising the fact that there's a breaking in period. Like when I first got my Quest, I actually got a sore on my forehead from using it, right? It can be pretty uncomfortable in the beginning. But the oils in your face actually, soften the insert. And as the springs loosen up, the balance of the device will start to shift. It'll start to change over a couple of weeks of use. And a lot of times very early on, people go, this is uncomfortable. I'm going to have to modify it. And then what they'll do is they'll get like external battery packs. They'll get counterbalance weights and stuff like that. And these are great. But if you do it too early on, after the device breaks in, the balance will shift again. And you're going to be one of these people that think the Quest is uncomfortable, right? And I've actually known people who have returned it because of this. But if you let it go through that breaking in period before you make any adjustments to it, that can make all the difference. And there'll come a time where, these will just become your eyes in the same way that these just become your hands, right? And this way, you're not even thinking about, being in here. You're just here with all of us. And that's kind of the point, right? This way you're really just fully immersed into it. All right. And, after a couple of weeks of use, if you find it still uncomfortable, there's a lot of accessories you can get, like external battery packs, counterbalance weights, or, this insert here by VR Cover. All right. It's really nice. It makes you feel like your face is in a pillow. It's really good. I can't recommend that one enough. And this one's cool because it comes with two of them. One's being washed. The other one can be used, and this way, makes it more hygienic. That's really important, especially now with all that's going on in the world. Also, you have these prescription inserts, right? They'll help keep your lenses safe of both your glasses and your headset. Because listen, if you scratch your eyeglass lenses or you scratch your, VR headset lenses, that can get pretty expensive, and this is a great way to prevent that. And speaking of protecting your device, right? So we got this travel case here. Listen, the box that the Quest comes is fantastic. But if you're going to be moving around a little bit, you can't go wrong with these travel cases, because if something happens to your device, like you leave it out on the counter and the sunlight hits it, it damages your lenses, or your display, right? It's not going to be like losing your toaster, right? If you're spending a lot of time in VR, like I'm seeing, weed time here, and and all of a sudden something happens to my device, I'm never going to see weed time again, ever. And you're going to register that like an actual loss. I've seen it happen, especially if you're spending a lot of time in here, you've made friendships, you got to take good care of your equipment. And that's a good way to do it, to keep it, stored when not in use. All right, now we are going to be, if you want to try any of these products, you can find them by going to altvr.com. All right, we made them easy to find. If you go in the upper left there where it says channels, you're going to notice all these Altspace event channels, and among them down toward the bottom, you're going to see Ravenhole events, like it says in the sound booth up there. And, if you click on that, you get taken to our event page. And there you'll see all the products on the left-hand side if you want to give any of these a try. Also, you'll see the join Discord button if you want to, ask us questions, say hello, or help us out with events like this. That's a great way to do that. And there's also the most important button on the internet, right? That's where they keep it. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's a subscribe button. And when you press that, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content, right? We don't get paid to do this, so it really makes us feel good when we see that number go up, or when we see our subscribers go up on YouTube. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll find links for all those products in the description below. All right. So yeah, that's that. Now we are going to be taking your questions now. So what I'm going to do is you're going to notice on your lower right a raise hand button appear as if by magic. That's true. It's what magic looks like in VR. And you press that raise hand button if you have a question or a comment, and you want to talk about an accessory that maybe I haven't mentioned or anything like that. Just press on that. You'll get on our list, and I'll call on you. I'll get to feel like a radio announcer, when that happens. All right, let's see. And while we're waiting for that to fill up, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find us at __Uncanny Valley. I know it looks like one underscore, but it is actually two. All right, Weeb Time, you've been pretty eager. You've been raising your hand up here. What do you got to say? Let's get you on the air. You're on the air, Weeb Time. What's up?
Thank you. I just have one question.
What's that? Just one? Okay.
I actually have multiple. One. I'm sorry, it's like 2 or 3.
Okay.
So, one question. Is there a way to pay for games without a credit card? Like a gift card?
Without a credit card? That's a really good question. And honestly, I don't think I know that, because with the Oculus app, when you should register in, you give your credit card number then. And I'm not sure if they have other payment options like PayPal or something. I see somebody's nodding. You can do that, Protogen? Protogen, would you mind raising your hand? Maybe help answer him? Because I haven't come across this yet. Raise that hand up there. On the raise hand button. There you go. Protogen, you're on the air. Cool name, by the way. What's going on, Protogen? Maybe you can help Weep them out here. No? Okay. Well, you are in the air.
I know there is a way. I know there is a way, but I forgot what the name of the card was. It was like a Visa gift card.
Oh, yeah, but that would still be like using a credit card, though. Yeah, but that might be an option, to get a gift card that you can use like that. That might be a way to do it. That's a good idea, Protogen. Thank you for that.
I have another one.
What's that?
So is there, like, what was I gonna say? I'm sorry. Well, maybe I'm really nervous right now.
That's okay. Don't be nervous. It's not like you're on YouTube and there's probably thousands of people watching. Well, maybe it's like hundreds.
You're not helping.
Don't feel nervous at all. Don't feel the pressure. Think of all those people. I'm just going to stand behind you like that. No, seriously though. What's your question? Or your comment?
So since what was I saying?
I made you nervous.
So,
I blame myself. Everybody,
it's okay. You don't
let's hang on one second. We're going to take another one real quick. Delighted, you have a question or a comment? Nice to see you again, Delighted. How you doing? What's up? You're on the air, by the way. We can all hear you. No pressure. What's going on? No? Okay, I can't hear you, Delighted. I don't know if anyone else can hear you, but I can't hear you. So let's see. Let's have a try getting you on the air again one more time. How about that? That work? Let's see. No? Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's not happening. Okay. Listen, if anybody else has any further questions or comments, we are going to be taking everybody flying right now. And the way we're going to do this, right, is you're going to see we've got this big red shiny button here, right? And when I press this, what's going to happen is you're going to see a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft fly by this window, come up over those trees, and touch down in that backyard area, right? And take us all over to the Ravenhall Flight Academy, where I can teach you guys how to fly. And if you have any more questions or comments, we'll be taking them there. If I'm going to unmute everybody because I like hearing reactions to this. But I'm gonna take the stage blocker off
This
too. If
is
anybody
really cool.
come up here, help me, push this button here. Come on up here and press this button, right? Right now we're gonna push it on 3. Everybody put your back into it, okay? On 3. 3, 2. Actually, I said on 3. I'm gonna count the other way. 1, 2, 3, push.
Ravenhall
There we
Talon
go.
aircraft
Now look out the
en
window,
route
everybody.
to your position.
All right, there it goes, flying on by. Let's go on out and meet it, all right, out in the back there. And if you've learned anything here today, please share it with those you come in contact with. So if somebody's down on the ground, they're all low, and you're like, what's wrong? And they're like, I'm on a quest and I'm stuck in the ground. What do I do? You just tell them to press down that left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because you help somebody, right? And that's how we help keep this thing going. All right, here it comes, coming in down now, right?
I have a question.
All right, cool. We'll take that question as soon as we get
Talon
there, okay?
aircraft is now
All right, here we
boarding
go.
outside for
you there?
transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, everybody.
See you
You've been a great
there.
audience. Come on, I'll see you next time.